Eleanor never expected to enjoy her 70s more than her 40s. Yet there she was, 77 years old, standing barefoot in her backyard garden, hands in the soil, a wide straw hat shielding her from the morning sun. Her neighbors often asked how she stayed so vibrant, so active, even cheerful. Her answer was always the same: habits. Not strict rules, not magic pills, just small, deliberate choices that added up over time. She hadn't always been like this. In her early 60s, she'd been overweight, often tired, and quietly anxious about aging. She lost her husband at 65 and found herself drifting through long, lonely days. Then one night, staring at the ceiling in the dark, she decided, this can't be the rest of my life. That moment changed everything. She committed to reinventing the way she lived, not through radical changes, but by stacking one good habit on top of another. Now, over a decade later, Eleanor credits 5 simple but powerful habits for helping her age like a pro. 1. Own the morning. Eleanor's days began before the sun fully rose. She wasn't trying to win the day or chase some productivity trend. She simply knew that her energy, clarity, and peace were at their highest early in the morning, and she wanted to use that time well. Her morning routine was simple: a glass of warm lemon water, 10 minutes of gentle stretching, and 15 quiet minutes with a book or journal. Sometimes she wrote down 3 things she was grateful for. Other times she just sat with a cup of tea and listened to the birds. That calm beginning shaped her entire day. No phone, no news, no rushing, just presence. She believed that how you start the day is how you carry the day, and that slow, intentional start helped her stay grounded, even when things around her weren't perfect. 2. Eat real food, mostly plants. Eleanor had spent years eating for convenience: microwave meals, snacks from the pantry, breads and sweets that soothed but sapped her energy. That changed in her 60s when she started learning about nutrition, not trends or fads, but honest food education. Now her plate was full of color: leafy greens, roasted vegetables, lentils, sweet potatoes, a few berries, some nuts. She wasn't a vegetarian, but she limited meat to a few times a week and focused on quality, not quantity. Cooking had become part of her rhythm, something that soothed her rather than stressed her. She kept meals simple: soups, salads, stews, baked fish, and she always drank water throughout the day, keeping a glass pitcher with lemon slices on her kitchen counter. This habit changed everything: her weight, her digestion, her energy levels, even her sleep. Her doctor once told her she had the lab results of a woman 20 years younger. But the biggest change? She felt good in her body again. 3. Move every single day. Eleanor didn't go to the gym. She never ran, and she wasn't lifting weights. But she moved every single day. Sometimes it was a brisk walk through the neighborhood. Other times it was yoga in her living room or pulling weeds in the garden. She had a simple rule: no 0 days. Even when she didn't feel like it, she committed to at least 10 minutes of movement. That was her minimum. She kept resistance bands in a basket near the couch. She had a YouTube playlist of senior-friendly workouts. She danced to old jazz records while she cleaned. She didn't care about burning calories. She cared about keeping her body supple, balanced, and strong. Movement for her was the difference between independence and dependence. She'd seen friends her age fall and never quite recover. So she trained her balance, strengthened her legs, and stayed limber. Move like you plan to keep moving, she told her grandkids, because the moment you stop, the rust sets in. 4. Protect your peace. In her younger years, Eleanor had been a people pleaser. She said yes to too much. She worried about what others thought. She spread herself thin trying to be everything for everyone. But one of the greatest gifts of aging, she discovered, was learning to say no and meaning it. She created what she called her peace plan. It included boundaries around toxic conversations, limited time on social media, and a conscious choice to stop consuming too much negative news. She started saying no to invitations that drained her and yes to time alone or with people who lifted her up. Eleanor meditated most evenings, not in a complicated way, but simply sitting still, closing her eyes and breathing deeply for 5 minutes. She called it her reset. Her phone was on silent during meals. She didn't sleep with the TV in her room, and she unfollowed anything online that made her feel anxious, angry, or small. Her mental peace wasn't an accident. It was a practice, and it gave her the emotional stamina to age with grace. 5. Stay connected with purpose. Loneliness is a quiet thief. Eleanor knew this firsthand. After her husband passed, she spent too many days without hearing her own voice out loud. But she refused to vanish into solitude. She started volunteering at the local library. She joined a community choir. She called her sister every Sunday and wrote postcards to her old college roommate. She found small, steady ways to stay connected. Most importantly, she kept a sense of purpose. She tended her garden not just for herself, but to give away vegetables to neighbors. She taught local children how to knit once a month. She wrote stories about her childhood to pass down to her grandkids. Even at 77, she felt useful, and that made all the difference. Aging well wasn't just about surviving, it was about mattering. One rainy afternoon, Eleanor's niece, 39 and tired from work and parenting, asked her, "What's your secret? How do you stay so steady?" Eleanor thought for a moment, then said, "I live by habits, not moods. My body and mind can't afford chaos anymore. These small things, they build a life. They carry me." The niece smiled, half amused. "So you're not some enlightened sage?" Eleanor laughed. "Heavens, no. I just made 5 good decisions, and I make them every day." And then, like she always did, she filled the kettle for tea, offered a second cup, and opened the window just a crack to hear the rain, to breathe in the world, and to live the kind of quiet, radiant life she had chosen, one habit at a time.